To be honest, it has taken me a hot minute to make a deck profile for Constellarknights. I think the last one I made was the Horus version of it, and I swore by it, but I didn't end up taking it to the regionals. I ended up taking a different version of it, and that's the Fiend Smith. I figured it wouldn't take a long time before Fiend Smith made its impact into the Constellarknights, and although I found some niche ways to use it, I kind of shied away from it recently, but that's not to take away from what the deck can do. Comparing the two decks, they each have their strengths and weaknesses, whether it comes to spitting out monsters or recursion. But since the most recent Appaloosa ban and the Beatrice ban, I thought we would shift the deck in a different direction. And I have finally put together something that is actually very competitive. So if you are someone that enjoys playing Constellarknights competitively, I present to you this deck list that you can take to your locals, to your regional level, and succeed with it. I got placed in top 90 at my LA regionals. This is before I actually took this version. I took like the weaker weaker version, but I think if I've taken this version, I would have had more success with it. That and I, once I went X3 with it, I dropped out. But the deck did have a lot of success going against the Runic. I beat Runic, White Forest, I beat Yubel with this deck, and I beat Snake Eyes with this deck with its full power. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and let's just jump into this video. We'll do a deck profile first, and then if it's successful, we'll do a tutorial as well. Remember, this is a different version than the one that I took to the regionals, so this version actually presents more win rate rather than the one that I took. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. We are running 3 copies of Constellar Sheratons. Whether you like it or not, this guy is your 1-card starter, and 1-card starter is detrimental to success of any tier 1 deck. So if you are not playing this, you are running the risk of not having a 1-card starter, and it's a very good one at that. So 3 copies of Sheraton. We are running triple copies of Constellarknight Lyran. This one recently got a reprint, so I'm excited to get the ultra one of this once it comes out in the tins. So we are running 3 copies of Lyran. She's a chain blocker with Sheraton, and she's helps you get to the spell card. She really does help you get your combos going. So I think that to start off with Sheraton and her is very detrimental and very important to your combo pieces, as well as having Caduceus. So the reason I'm running 3 Caduceus is this card alone wins you a lot of matchups against Yubel, which is very tough. I think it's obviously it's the top deck right now since the ban list. But this equipped to any of your tellers before damage calc, it actually banishes their Yubel monsters, so you don't do damage calculation, and it's not once per turn effect. So if you are battling Yubel, make sure you have Caduceus equipped as an Xyz material to it. They literally have no out. If you have Diamond and Caduceus on top, you can just banish all their monsters until they eventually run out of resources. So her Lyran and Caduceus in hand is a full combo. Another part of full combo is Pollux. Pollux is a great card, catches a lot of people off guard. This boy is a 1700 beat stick, so that with Lyran saves you a normal summon, so you can actually play through Nib, which is very it's surging in relevancy again in this format because there's no more like Appaloosa cards. So this plus Lyran lets you play past Nib, and I'll tell you why, because it saves you another normal summon for a combo. So the goal of this version of the deck is to swarm the field, and I think it does it way better than the Constellarknights, which is why we're leaning more Constellar version and only a little bit of Constellarknights. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys don't agree with this, but any combination of this versus Constellarknights, they don't break on one another. So Pollux can summon another Pollux versus Vega cannot set another Vega. Not to mention, this does not trigger SP Little Knight, or does not trigger any effect that your like Defender or SP can activate, and it can get over SP, which is pretty big, and it does come up at times. So yeah, so that's and then there's obviously the one of Sombre. This one's a good card to hold on to or search off of Sheraton if you have full combo, because this is the additional normal summon that you want to save yourself in case you get nipped. Because upon summon, it lets you banish a Constellar from graveyard, add one from your graveyard to your hand, and then lets you normal summon again. So it's a great extender. I think because of Nib, this card is good to have, and it's a good Good thing to search off of Sheraton in case you already have all your combo pieces in hand. So it does come up. But yeah, I like this ratio right now. And then we're gonna jump into the tellers, which is not that many. I guess you can count as Alteran as a Constellar as well. So you are running one copy of her. She pops cards on the field based on the light and dark monsters you control. Just remember her drawback is you can only attack with XCs once she's brought out. So not that hindering since you are running primarily all XC monsters, but something to just keep in the back of your mind. This deck is not for everyone. It's not something that you can easily pilot. It's hard. You have to be really good at this deck to pull out wins against meta-relevant decks like Tempais and Yubels. One copy of Altair. Don't want to see this guy in hand. He's a combo piece once you bring out Deltaros. And that's what we're doing in this deck. We're going to be abusing the hell out of Deltaros, okay? And then one newly added Capella. Capella's a weird card, right? Because it makes on summon, it's a lingering effect, which is pretty great. But on summon, it lets you, it makes all your tellers, if you're going into 3 material, it can go into 5s instead of 4. So you have that option. You can go into 3 material level 4 or 2 material level 4. But if you're going for material rank 5 monster, you can go 3 level 5s, which can be a diamond, or it can be another card that I actually incorporated into this deck now. So that's it for your Teller / Constellar lineup. We are running the engine that everybody is running now. We are running Fiendsmith Engraver, 3 copies of it, Europrint. Picked this up at my local store. I don't know, they were selling Euro boxes, so I picked up 3 copies. So the reason I'm running this guy is not only because it gives us nip protection, but there is a synergy with the tellers, right? I know a lot of you are in the comments saying, hey, why aren't you running the Hexateller? Because it's a light Fiend Teller that's searched by Deltaros. You can, but the end goal of this board is not to focus too much on make sure you go into a Fiendsmith combo. It's more of and I'll show you what it is. I don't want to spill too many beans before I actually showcase this. And then 1 copy of Lurie. But the reason we are running Engraver is in case we don't open really well with tellers, which can happen at times. This can get you into an M7 and then eventually bridge you into tellers. But yeah, so that's the 3 copies of Engravers, 1 copy of Lurie, self-explanatory. Extra extenders, we are running 2 copies of Sakitama. Testing this out in case I don't get enough combo pieces. It's very important. We only have truly 1 card starter. Maybe Engraver has 2 1 card starters, but Sakitama comes in handy, and it's a normal summon again, so it doesn't trigger much. Head trap lineup for monsters, we are running triple Ash Blossom, still pretty good against Branded, I guess. Now that Branded Fusion's down to 1. Good against Yubel, good against Tempai. I mean, mid. It's not overpowering good. It needs to be paired up with other cards. Which is why I'm running 3 Molcharmies in the main. I know some of you guys are like, hey, why is it in the main? The draw power that it can generate is unmatched. I've pulled this off twice against my opponents at locals. I even had double Molcharmies, and it forces out Ash Blossoms. It forces them to play more carefully, because the more I draw, the better. And I do run Droplet in this deck, so if I do end up on Droplet, it's just full board wipe. And we are running 2 copies of Nib. I don't want to crowd this deck with too many hand traps. I do run over 10, but I don't want to do more than that. This can be subbed out for Droll and Lockbird if you guys don't have Molcharmies. That'll be the budget version of it. And the best part about this deck is you don't need to run Engravers. If you don't want to, you can run Traptrix Rafflesia, I believe, if you're trying to do budget. That's for all you budget guys out there. She is basically a nib protection, or if you want, you can even run Crossout Designators. So yeah, so that's the monster lineup. We're gonna jump into the spell cards. We are running triple Forbidden Droplets, guys. Droplet is a busted card. It's really good this format, and it shines even better if you are running the Horus engine, which I'm still waiting in the mail. So it's something that we can pivot to if we want to. But I'm trying to learn this deck. I think it's more versatile than the Horus engine. Recursion's not as crazy, but the bricks are not as much. So yeah, triple Droplet is really good. It's good against breaking any board, actually. 1 Twinkle. Twinkle is a staple alongside with 2 Constellarknights. You could bump this up to 3 with the Fiendsmith engine. Like I said, if you're going to M7 and have this in hand, with Fiend Smith, that's all you need to go into your Deltaros loop. So this comes up. So yeah, so 3 copies of that. We have your 1-ups, you have a Reinforcements of the Army. We have Call by the Grave. Could be a side card. I'm running it in the main now because Droll really hurts if we don't go early combo. Let's see, 1 Fiendsmith track, obviously. Triple Tactics talent can be bumped up to 2, and then we are running an Armored XC. We are running the armor package in this deck, which is really good. It catches a lot of people off guard, and it lets us just keep extending like crazy. We can play like through 4 hand traps. And then full armor of the XC. Let's transition to that, might as well. So this one, what it does is it equips one XC monster from the grave to any monster you want to on the field. That doesn't have to be an XC. So usually we take a Deltaros and equip it to IP or even SP, giving it like changing its attack to 2500. And then it has the effect, if it swings, you can send that monster to the graveyard and then it can attack again. This one, however, it's if I have an XC on the field, it lets me XC summon during my opponent's turn as well. And then it equips, and then it takes an XC monster from the graveyard and equip an XC monster on the field. So it's if I banish it from the grave. So it's really handy because then that triggers full armored XC Dark Lancer's effect. And then it gives that equipped monster attack boost to that to the monster on the field, basically. Wow, that was a mouthful. But then again, that's Yu-Gi-Oh too. And then obviously to wrap up the traps, we are running triple Imperms. Imperm plus Nib is game in a lot of situations. So that's it for the main. Let's jump into the extra deck. I got new sleeves, so I thought I would show these out. These are like bleach sleeves. Pretty sick, guys. Here, I'll show a little close-up of it. Pretty nice. We are running the Teller lineup. We are running 2 Caduceuses for recursion and then part of your combo piece as well. Pretty nice card. 1 copy of Ghost Rare Deltaros. Man, this guy's beautiful artwork. I don't know, some of you guys, I have an ulti as well if you guys want to see that, but I think Deltaros Ghost Rare is just so unique because Ghost Rares are so hard to come by, and I'm glad that the Tellers made one before Konami absolutely gave up on them. We have 1 Constellar Diamond, Satellar Constellar Diamond. This guy GG's a lot of against the #1 deck right now that's in the format. This is like Tier Limits all over again. This deck shits on all the dark decks. As well as Branded as well if it decides to stick around. It's a Floodgate, and it's not once per turn Dark Monster negate destruction. 1 M7, more than a stepping stool at this point. Now it can be used with the Fiendsmith to actually have its effect recur, which is pretty nice sometimes, just to get rid of monsters on the field or return cards from field to hand. Pretty nice card. So 1 of that, and then we're going to move this out of the way. Let's go into our other monsters. We are running the Fortress and the Lancer. Usually if I have SP on the field and they try to evenly match me, I'll get rid of my Lancer because then they'll send Fortress to the graveyard. Lancer effect next turn brings Fortress back, and he gains his attack, and then he can do double damage if battling the monster. A lot of time that's enough to push for game. Yeah, pretty busted card. I'm looking to get this QCR of this version. It's really good. I like it. Let's get rid of that. Let's go into our Fiendsmith package. We are running 1 Requiem, 1 Moon. You know, for the links, I did not want to run Moon before because I'm like, we have our own built-in, but it does come up a lot. Like sometimes I bring this out instead of IP and it still doesn't feel too bad, except for linking during the opponent's turn. It just depends what my hand looks like. If I already bridged off into Fiendsmith, I don't need her, but if I didn't, it's another good way to get into it. 1 Necroquip, self-explanatory, and then 1 Italian High King Caesar. Beautiful card, beautiful. I feel like it belongs in this deck along with the full Dark Lancer. It can sometimes be enough to win games on its own. You know, it's very underrated, but that's not our win condition. So we are, for generic links, we are running the IP and SP. I mean, self-explanatory. And then for non-engine guys, we are running 1 Baguska in case we run into Shifter. Shifter is in a lot of people's decks right now, and sometimes Baguska is enough to kind of stall out and get the turn back to you. Not to mention, from Baguska you can eventually go into your Armor Fortress because it'll detach a material by itself, and then Armor Fortress on top, you detach 2 material and then go full combo from there. And then last but not least, the win con. We have the Paradise Smasher. If If you guys are not aware, Paradise Smasher has an effect where it's a funny effect because it catches a lot of people off guard. It's 2+ level 5 monsters, so you can go 2 level 5 monsters if you want, but 3 is usually what enables its effect to go into full power. So once this guy's on the field, we both roll 6-sided die twice. So the person with the highest results cannot activate any monster effects until the end of their opponent's turn. So usually I bring this out during my turn, and then if my opponent rolls higher, they can't activate any monster effects until the end of the turn. Now you're saying this might be risky. However, because I have that extra material attached, I can switch one of my opponent's results to a 7. So if we both roll 1 and 1, it'll cancel out. However, I can change one of his rolls to a 7. So now he rolled an 8. So it's about 90% chance that the odds go in my favor. And if not, we can always stall out during our turn. 90% is a good chance. I mean, it's not a Beatrice, but again, the deck that we are playing is a rogue deck. This is like this is a rogue deck that's, if piloted correctly, can be a tier 2 deck. And can surprise a lot of people, can catch a lot of people off guard. So you have to have a win con. My friend was playing Flandreese, and that deck is a rogue deck as well. But they are running Featherstorm. And that's what kind of motivated me, like, hey, you know what? We need something like this. And if you take a look at it, it's less bricky than Beatrice with the Mayakashi dump. So I kind of like this. Going second, you wouldn't be activating this. But it's not a brick because it's just chilling in the extra deck. For side deck, this is Awesome is our time card. That's an awesome card. With game 3, it's easy to make if you're going first. Just banish it and do damage. We are running triple Droll. Droll in the side is good because it catches a lot of people off guard. It's good against rogue decks. You do want to make sure if you're going first, you want to make sure your combos go through. So crossout designators are in there for Nib and Droll. And Ash and Imperm or whatever, this will cover everything. You are running triple Cyclone against the back row hate. I will always leave this card in unless something better comes out. Double Thrust, this is good for going first or second, because going second it can search your cards like Dark Ruler No More or Harpy's Feather Duster, or for trap cards evenly matched, as well as going first you'll need it for Deep Barrier. So yeah, so that's my side. I know Spooky Dogwood might make its way back here, it just depends. This deck usually either wins fast or loses fast, so it's hard to go into time mode. But yeah guys, so that's my deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be going live sometime this week to showcase more combo tutorials, and then we'll see how it performs. I want you guys to try it out as well. I know it's not cheap, but I want you to try out the Paradise Smasher variant. This card is not expensive. And the deck itself can't function without the engravers. And then the Horus Quest just got a reprint, so you guys can try that out as well if you want. They're relatively cheap now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below if you like this variant, or what kind of win con are you playing in your deck? The old Ptolemaeus turn skip, or you're just hoping that the deck does enough by itself. Thank you guys for watching this video. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.